Taking a look at something like this, if we want to apply number lines to kind of a real world context, this is kind of how we would approach this. So something like this guy, two tug of war contestants, and I know this is kind of a silly example, but are competing. One contestant is 8 feet from the center line, and the other is 6 feet from the center line. What's the length of the rope being used? And so if we kind of think about this for a moment, let's say here's the rope that's being used, all right? And let's say here's the center line is right here. So it's telling us that right here, this guy is 8 feet away, and this guy is 6 feet away. And so when we think about that, if we wanted the overall length here, if we kind of fix this thing to a number line, say, you know what, this center line, if I call this 0, it really just means that this is at -6, and this guy over here is at +8. And so that idea that this thing can be kind of adjusted and set onto a number line can kind of show us the distance here. And this is what we've been doing. And maybe it even made more sense in this context to say, if this guy's 8 feet in this direction, the other guy's 6 feet in the other direction, well, there's a total of 14 feet in between them, all right? That's how number lines work, okay? We're essentially looking at 0 and say, this guy is 8 feet away in one direction, the other guy is 6 feet in the other direction. It's a total of 14 feet, okay? So these guys are 14 feet away. And again, if you want to fix it exactly to a number line, you just do one is positive, one is negative, because they're on different sides. We use positive or negative to basically mimic the direction of this thing. All right? And if you did 8 minus the -6, you would also get that +14. Okay? Something like this guy, an interior designer hangs a picture 38 inches away from a doorway. They hang a second picture 68 inches away from the same doorway, and they're hanging both of these to the same side, to the right. All right? We want to know how far apart the pictures are. And so, it helps to maybe draw the situation. So I've got a doorway here. So here's my doorway. So one picture is 38 inches away. And the next picture is 60 inches away in the same direction. Okay? So one of them is here, the other one is here, something like that. All right? And I want to know how far apart the pictures are. Maybe that's where they're hanging the center of the picture. So I'll put my little a little nail hole. So they put a little nail right here, and they put a little nail right here. But the idea here is, if we think about this in terms of a number line, well, since these are on the same side, well, this would be if I put this all on one number line. Here's 0. This would be at 38. Over here, this would be at 60. Well, think about how far apart those are on the number line. We would just subtract to get the distance there. And so because they're on the same side of the doorway here, really the distance between them is just a little bit of subtraction. Okay? And so if I do the 60 minus the 38, that gives me a 22, and that is inches. So I'm going to say 22 inches. All right? So again, these are examples where we kind of visualize and we think about the number line, and that's how we come up with these distances, okay? If things are in opposite directions, it's like being on opposite sides of the number line, okay? If they're on the same side, it's like being on the same side of the number line. And we can fix those things in the number line. We just have to understand where they are, where their position is in terms of whether they should be positive or negative, okay?